What's up, guys? It's the real main event, the Rogue Soldier, the essential John L. Crossfire.
And I'm Mrs. Crossfire.
And once again, you guys are tuned into Caught
in Conversation. Shakalaka-laka.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 76 of Caught in Conversation. As always, I am your host, the essential real main event, the Rogue Soldier, yada, 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 John L. Crossfire, and I am super excited to bring you this conversation today between myself and Kid Valiant. We've been trying to get this together for a few months now, and we finally managed to make it work. We finally managed to link up. As you guys know, I am a very big fan of what this young man does, and I have sung his praises on Lord knows how many episodes. You can go back through the archives and maybe even play a drinking game. Don't do that, you'd probably be dead. But in this conversation, we'll talk about how crazy 2022 has been for him in his career and what 2023 may hold for him, as well as just some general nerding out thrown in there for good measure. The song of the week this week is going to be You're Gonna Go Far, Kid by The Offspring. It seemed like a fitting tune for this episode. There's also a really dope cover out there featuring Jonathan Young and Lauren Babick. I think it's Jonathan Young, it might be Caleb. I'm going to say it's Jonathan Young and Lauren Babick. I should have researched that before doing this intro, but it wouldn't be the Caught in Conversation part if it wasn't for this. It wouldn't be the Caught in Conversation pod. I'm going to leave that in there. Who gives a fuck? If I wasn't all over the place, this is just my ADHD mind. I'm sorry. I try to be professional. It just ain't going to happen. But yeah, the official song of the week this week is going to be You're Gonna Go Far, Kid by The Offspring. The match of the week this week is going to be CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan at WWE Over the Limit 2012. In this conversation, you'll hear Kid Valiant mention a match that he did witness between these two at a live event he attended. And this match here was the first one that popped into my head when he brought that up. Of course, I don't think these guys have ever had a bad match against each other, in all fairness. But again, the match of the week this week will be CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan at Over the Limit 2012. But I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to jump straight in to this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only Kid Valiant. How you doing, mate? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How about you?
As I said in the Instagram story, currently fueled by caffeine and anger, but that's all right. I feel like this conversation will hopefully put me back on the right track for today. I'm notorious for supporting shitty teams no matter what fucking sport it is, but here we are.
Let's hope it works out well for you, bro.
Well, I've already hit record. I always hit record before I actually dial, but I feel like, is that a good starting point? Like, does Kid Valiant have any other sports outside of professional wrestling that tickle his interests?
Tickle my interest. AFL, every chance I have the chance to watch it. Like, I'm not the biggest sports person outside of wrestling, but I think AFL is like the only thing I would follow outside of it.
That's fair. The irony of that is AFL and soccer are probably like the only two things that I don't follow.
Yeah, look, soccer's, I'm not a big fan of soccer, tell you that very much.
Everyone was going crazy about the World Cup, and I'm just like, yay, sports?
Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah.
Go sports team.
Woo!
But I know that you've already done a couple of podcasts. I've actually listened to them with Rafe from Faces and Feels and Pierce at Shooting the Shit, and I think you did On the Turnbuckle as well, and probably others I'm missing. So if there's anything throughout this conversation that you do find yourself repeating, I do sincerely apologize. So you can kind of just give us like an abridged version of certain answers if you'd like. But I'm ready to kick this straight off if you are, man.
I'm ready when you are, brother.
Awesome. So I feel like the typical icebreaker, it's kind of a generic question, but I feel like it's the best start for any of these is, in a nutshell, what was Kid Valiant's earliest wrestling memory?
Okay. I can thank my father for this because, as I've previously mentioned in a lot of podcasts, he did backyarding. I think my earliest recollection of wrestling itself was it a Raw or was it a SmackDown? Either way, straight off the bat, it's Rey Mysterio. The colourful scheme he has on his gear, the mask, the high flying. That really captivated me, and I wanted to be somewhat like a hero like him, because that's how I took it in. I thought of him as Spider-Man in a way, like the closest we'll ever get to a Spider-Man in the real world.
Rey Mysterio is like the ultimate underdog.
Oh, 100%. Like, if you've seen a lot of my career, I am built as the underdog.
Very much so.
But yeah, Rey Mysterio, who else? Jeff Hardy, definitely. I think Jeff Hardy has influenced a lot of Australian professional wrestlers, or just a lot of wrestlers in general. The Daredevil antics, which I've picked up, and Rochelle's not too happy that I've done all that dumb stuff, but it's not going to stop me.
Yeah, I saw the incorrect DM to you quote, and it's just like, Kid Valiant, I'm a jump off that, and I'm like, that's probably not overly incorrect.
I'll be completely honest. Every venue I walk into, I'm always scouting what I can jump off. Like, even yesterday, I was hanging out with a mate of mine, and we were at the shops, and I'm like, I could jump off that. It'll suck, but I'll jump off that.
So I can see that though for your persona, because I'm a fat dude and I still look at things in wrestling venues and I'm like, I wonder if I could make that. So for someone of your stature that's actually athletic enough to follow through with said thought, I could very much imagine that.
It's a dangerous thought.
Well, they always say, it's cliche, but it ain't ballet, and you've picked your path. Are you going to be like a Darby Allin where you're just going to kill yourself every chance you get, or are you going to kind of make it count?
Oh, look.
A little bit of both.
bit of both. Pending the match, like the match I had with Xavier Black in the pit, I was like, Darby Allin, it might as well just have a go. But no, I'm going to be very picky and choosy, because I don't want to be in my 30s or my 40s where I potentially could be in a wheelchair and all that. So I'm going to pick my opportunities very wisely. And
I just turned 28 in October, and both my knees are fucking screwed. So just don't do what I do.
Oh man!
But was there a certain moment outside of seeing Ray where you've gone, I want to do that, or I could do that, or I'm going to do that?
So, like I said, Dad did the backyarding. He knew some people within the professional wrestling business itself. So, going to the live shows, especially in Australia, because I never knew it was a thing. And I got to see that in person. I was like, yeah, that's the platform I want to be on. So the live shows really brought that out of me. I've always been an entertainer as a kid. Every chance I could do a speech at a birthday party, I would do it, or dance and put on my own shows in the backyard. It happened, but yeah, seeing it live in person and seeing just everyone being lit up and everyone just having a grand old time, it just really smacked me in reality that I can actually do this. And, here I am as a 19-year-old, slowly doing what I do best.
It still boggles my mind how fucking young you are. I've put you over on so many of these episodes. It's not funny, but I don't understand how someone so young, and you said your dad used to be a backyarder, so in a way you have been around the business to an extent for most of your life, but in a way you're still very, very new to the scene. You've only been in there for a couple of years, so to see where you are now, it's crazy to me to think, where is this kid when he becomes, when he's no longer the Kid Valiant and he's just that valiant man or something? Where is he going to be in 5 years' time, 10 years' time? I cannot wait to continue to see your growth. But before I go off on that tangent, there's the caffeine kicking in. My apologies. Before I go off on that tangent and I get too out of the realm, because this is probably going to jump all over the place, because I have written, a kind of structure-ish and a couple of questions, but between my passion for wrestling and your passion for wrestling, and I don't know about you, but I'm ADHD as fuck, so...
Oh, dude, I'm ADHD too.
The episode I did last week with Adrian from Anarchy ended up going...
Yeah, I listened to that one.
Just shy of 2 hours, and I told him 45 to an hour, and I said the same to you, so I'm like, if I'm taking too long and you want to move on, just tell me to shut up. I apologize, but my first...
look, we're going over, brother.
But my first actual question, I tried to slot them in, but then I'm like, if it comes in naturally with the conversation with them, we're just going to have to go with the flow. But my first actual question was, I've been looking at you, what you've done. As I said, the first couple of years, your name has skyrocketed in Australian professional wrestling almost instantly, which is fucking awesome. Kudos to you. You're obviously doing something right. But 2022 specifically has been... absolutely nuts. You won, became the youngest and unfortunately shortest reign for DMD heavyweight champion at the same time. You are the current FWA Jupiter champion as we record this. And something super crazy, which you actually just touched on about 2 months ago now, and superfan Kyle Lead wanted me to bring this up specifically to ask you about, but you bring up Xavier Black, you bring up the Pit. How does that come about? How does Kid Valiant find out that he's competing in the Pit and against Xavier Black, who is just a fucking monster on top of that? Like, what goes through your mind? And then when you're actually in the moment and you're diving off the top of the cage, like just take us through that process if you can. Because, again, you're such a young kid and you're doing all this cool shit and I'm fucking loving watching it.
So the events leading up to the ICW tour, I was originally just booked on the D&D show. I was scheduled to wrestle Jake Wilder. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but I'll get to the reason why. I'll do a little history lesson too. Myself and Xavier Black were actually 1-1 against each other. Back in my first year of professional wrestling, we actually wrestled twice at NAW. I beat him the first time. He's beaten me the second. So we've always wanted that the rubber match, the blow-off match.
What a fucking way to do it, that inside the Pit Fighter X for ICW. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was... I couldn't believe it. So I woke up the morning of the Pit. I wasn't going to rock up to the venue till just after setup. I was going to help with pack down. But I woke up around 10-ish, and then Callan Butcher messages me. He was like, "Hey man, can I call you real quick?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course," thinking I was in trouble. I'm like, "Oh shit, what did I do now?" Because I'm a smart ass, I'm a dumb ass, so I thought
Callan's a big fucking dude. I didn't realize that until I was standing next to him at Roll On either. So when you got someone like that messaging you going, "We need to talk," it's like, oh fuck, this is it's not you, it's me situation.
Well, I've known Callan since I was 15. It's the same with Xavier Black. They were the very few people within DMD that I've known since I started.
Oh, okay.
Well, so I thought I was going to have, Callan get me in trouble. And he was like, "Hey, we have room for a match. Danny has just said he wants 2 local boys to go fucking mental." Oh, sorry, can I swear?
Dude, you say whatever the fuck you want. I think if people listen to 3 or 4 of these episodes, they're going to think the only words that I know are fucking shit. And I had this conversation with my wife like 2 weeks ago on the pod. Like, I promise I have a more extensive vocabulary. I just, when I get in the zone for wrestling, the ADHD kicks in and I try to think of words and I get stuck and I'm just like, this is what it is. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, so Callan was like, "Yeah, Danny's got room on the card for 2 locals to go fucking mental." Originally, they hit up Scotty Roach to wrestle me, but I think he had a family event on. It's okay, we'll get that match eventually. But then, they're like, "Oh, so it's you and Xavier Black." And holy shit, I was so over the moon. I rushed.
That's fucking mental for you, though. We need 2 local boys, and obviously you say your original opponent, Scotty Roach, wasn't able to do it. Xavier Black steps in. That can work in a kayfabe aspect as well, obviously, because they're a tag team. But the fact that you're number 1, essentially, on that list, like, that's fucking bonkers, man.
Yeah, look, it was quite a shock because we have quite a diverse roster and we got plenty of talent to go around within the DMDU roster itself to actually step up in that role and to have the honor to actually get a message or a phone call in this case to be like, hey, we want you on the ICW show. Out of all the shows on the tour, we want you on the pit. It was quite an honor. It's still such a privilege to have been on that show. But yeah, it was phenomenal. So I rocked up to the venue, saw the cage getting set up, saw everything, and I was like, shit, this is actually happening.
I'm about to be locked inside this motherfucker.
Yeah, look, it's daunting at first, but as soon as I saw the cage up, I was like, I'm jumping off that.
Everything comes full circle.
Pretty much. I was like, I got to jump off it. I had to impress, yeah. Like, I got given an opportunity when they didn't need to give me one. I was like, I got to show out, and I believe I quite did that. It was, so we made the cut can chairs. We got told we were able to use gusset plates, which at first I got freaked the fuck out. But I'm definitely going to take them again. I don't know why, because I'm dumb.
I feel like it's good in a way, because I know that you've mentioned on other pods and social media and just in general that you did want to do a proper death match, but you just kind of, you needed to get in the mindset sort of thing, like when Joel challenged you, you froze up sort of thing. But in a way, you've kind of, not only are you in the pit, it's basically a no-ring death match, so you've kind of semi got a taste for it now.
Yeah, I think the Mad Earth shows have helped me heaps to get comfortable without actually wrestling in a ring itself. The cage was just another instrument or like another prop, that could just amplify what I do, especially because I'm a high flyer. But what was it? It was basically a Mad Earth match. It had the way my mind processes it in a way, but with death match involved. So, I'm taking gussets. I got slammed on door hinges. What else? I got beaten. Holy shit. I've never been hit by a chair that hard in my life until Xavier Black just slams it up against my back. We had a table or a door in this case. But having a taste of my first ever death match was when I was in the I'm going to say the ring, it was weird. I was like, am I going to do well? Is this something I can excel in if I ever wanted to take it up a lot more? But did the match. I was like, I want to do this again. There's like that deathmatch bug everyone keeps talking about. It's 100% true. 100% true. I walked in the back saying, fuck, I want to do this again.
Fuck yeah. I kind of like, I've always been the same, like, I want to dabble in tax and stuff like that. And then obviously with my health and stuff the way it is, I'm like, look, I'm going to be lucky to get back into the ring anyway. So y'all can have that and I'll just watch with awe from the sidelines.
I just think the craziest part, it was the frog splash. So it was a rainy day that day, so the cage was a little bit wet still.
Shit.
So climbing up there, the reason I took so long to jump off because it was wet and I was trying to find my feet in. And then I had Joel holding the cage with Hawker and all I hear is Joel's voice, you can do it. So that really got me G'd up. And then I did the side step. And as I did that frog splash, I smashed my foot against the thinnest padding in the world. It was basically, it was straight up concrete. And then I thought I broke my toe. So I had to
not fucking shatter their ankle doing that.
Look, I'm surprised I'm still able to function after all the dumb stuff I've just done within this year alone, let alone jumping off a cage. I'm very lucky. Very lucky. It was just bruised my foot. So I was supposed to wrestle Jake the next day. I had to pull out because I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk properly.
Hence the fuck, I think this is broken.
Yeah, but I impressed. Pretty much got an invite whenever I want to go overseas.
Fuck yeah!
So that's a huge honor. Honestly, I just can't thank DMD and ICW for the major opportunity. It was such a great night. got a lot more eyes on me, a lot more traction, and I'm just over the moon. I'm very, very ecstatic.
Well, I'm still to actually catch up on those shows. I really need to pull my finger out now that they've put my fucking face on the canvas. But just from the clips alone that I've seen online, you can tell what an amazing weekend it was. And for you guys to get to experience that, and again, I keep harping on this, I apologize, but just for your age and experience level to be on that platform, and not just being on that platform, but fucking thriving, like that's that's amazing to me. And I feel like I cannot wait to see, like, if you're already at this level, what's the next step going to be for Kid Valiant? Like, that just boggles my mind. So I can't imagine how you're feeling in that moment when you're standing on that cage and you've got Joel Bateman of all people saying, "You can do it." Like, everyone knows that I'm just a massive mark for Joel and everything he does, but just I cannot imagine
Joel's the best.
Being in that position.
It was the nerves were real that day. It was like it was really crazy because I knew I was going to have worldwide eyes on me rather than just the local scene. But to be put in that position and to show out, and some people said that was match of the night, to really helped me mentally, I'm going to say too. Like, it's boosted me saying, like, I can actually do this shit. Like, I'm a good wrestler instead of beating myself up every chance I have.
I know those feels. You can get 100 things right, but you make that one little thing wrong, and you're like, "That was fucking shit." And then you just
contemplate over it. Yeah, 100%.
But even on social media, though, I think that was one of, if not the most shared clip that I saw from that weekend. And, I know a lot of people can say, social media doesn't mean much, but in this modern day of wrestling, I feel like that's an instant feedback almost. Because I knew so many people that were in the crowd, so I was getting it from all different angles. And then the actual, of course, ICW pages and DMTU pages on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, fucking Tinder, whatever, yeah. I don't know. Like, just social media in general, just sharing it around. I'm like, it's just insane.
It was such a great night, and just like the response over social media, just blew me away. I didn't think I'd be in such a position at like such an age where people was like, Kid Valiant is good, and like sharing all this shit and like following me. It's still just surreal right now.
The thing I love the most about it is, and you've shared this on, I believe it was Faces and Feels with Rafe, but you talked about how you got the name Kid Valiant, where you didn't even pick that. Someone gave that to you, one of your trainers, and the fact that you've taken that and you've now molded this, I don't want to say persona, because I know that I've met you for a brief second, and I can tell that, it's just kind of you turned up, but the fact that you've basically taken this one little thing, which at the end of the day, a name's just a name, in my opinion. The fact that you've taken this and you've molded it into what it is, and again, in such a short time, is just, it's absolutely insane to me.
Yeah, look, the name Kid Valiant, like I've said numerous times, wasn't given to me. And then the fact that I've been able to make it work and mold it into what I want it to be. And like, exactly like you said, it's just me turned up to 11 or like to 100 at this point. I'm still very proud of that because I hated Kid Valiant. I hated everything Kid Valiant was at the beginning. But now, I hate to admit it, but I slowly love it. I love it.
I feel that, though, because obviously I've never done anything on the level of you, and I'm never going to do anything the level of you or any of the DMTU guys for that matter. I'm just a little guy that likes to do shit. But when I first, debuted, I had this character that I'd been molding since I was like fucking 12 years old, and here we are, 11 years later, I'm making my debut, and it's like, okay, here's a list of names, pick one. And I was like, okay, fuck yeah, Crossfire, whatever. It took me, the full 3 years almost, a full 3 years to kind of mold what I wanted to even do with that, and then took another year on top of that to kind of put it all in motion, and then now I'm sitting on my ass because of a fucking eye injury. So kudos to you for not only just being like, hey, this is your name, no, like you didn't pick it, no nothing, this is just who you are, this is what you do, and then you've gone, okay, fuck it, whatever, I'm gonna do this, and now it's just skyrocketed. I keep using that term, but it's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, I've made the name what it is today, and that wouldn't have happened without the countless opportunities I've been presented this year. So I think I've done well in terms of making Kid Valiant a decent name.
But I feel like on that note, this might be a little bit somber. I don't know how you want to answer this, but 2022, it's been pretty crazy. This might be a little bit sore for you both mentally and physically, but very recently, amidst all of this amazing stuff that's happening for Kid Valiant, you make your debut in the pit for ICW. You have that cool moment. We just harped on for about 10 minutes about it. You unfortunately lose the title to Gore. You put up a hell of a fight in the rematch. Crackerjack puts a staple in Rochelle Rogue's head right in front of you, and then all just for Rochelle to turn around and wrap a chair straight around your fucking head. So where does this leave Kid Valiant heading into 2023? What's the mindset leading into that? Are we going to see Kid Valiant versus Rochelle, or what's going on there? I've got to know.
Yeah, look, I can still feel the steel chair across my head. I think Xavier Black hit me hard. Well, that one hit me hard because not only did she knock me out, but my heart broke. Little sad moment there. But I'm sure I'll get my hands on it. I'm sure I will, and I have every plan to get my hands on her. In fact, I want to spill blood. Okay. I want to spill her blood because she almost made me spill a bit of mine, like getting whacked with a chair in the head and then getting dropped on a chair, of course. It was close, I thought she had my back. I thought she was never going to stab me in the back, but she did such thing, and I think the only way of redemption is to make her spill her own blood.
Goddamn.
Yeah, that went dark. DC universe. Oh, damn it.
See, like I'm just looking this from the outside looking in. I know Rochelle a bit better than I know you, but obviously I'm just a fan at the end of the day. So it's like I don't want to get involved. You get your business is your business, but I'm like as the rogue soldier John Crossfire, I can kind of see where my fellow rogue is coming from, but to do it.
Oh,
I want to know her reasoning behind it, and I wouldn't mind having her on to find out her reasoning behind it because I've made some decisions that I won't say that I regret, but it's part of growth, I think.
Well, when you catch up, actually after the event that's taken place, there was a camera backstage, and they happened to catch her saying, "I don't date fucking losers."
I did. I believe she shared that clip on social media. I think and I saw something very similar.
It's pretty ironic seeing how I'm pretty sure she's lost every match this year, women DMDU. So, Rochelle, what's going on?
That does seem like maybe that there's a bit of a chip on Miss Rogue's shoulders. I don't know. Again, that's not for me to decide. That's your guys' business. But I want to know what Rochelle thinks after that. Kid Valiant and Rochelle Rogue have actually locked horns, and it's not a cheap shot or a sneak attack. And as I said, I can't talk. Pot kettle black. I've done some dastardly things. I'm not proud of them. But they're things that happened. They made me see the light, I guess. But here's hoping that Rochelle can see the error of her ways, perhaps.
Look, man, she burnt that bridge, and I don't know how long it's going to take for her to mend it. And I did see she's moving to Melbourne too, so I think that makes our chances of bumping into each other a lot
I did see
bigger.
That announcement just this morning or last night as we record this. So, look, I'm going to say Melbourne promoters book Rochelle Rogue, but be wary that Kid Valiant, he's got a little bit of a gripe.
Look, I don't normally hold grudges, but I literally got heartbroken from the one person I genuinely loved. So, just look out.
Fair enough.
Definitely look out.
I do apologize for bringing that down, but I feel like there's no way we could have this podcast and not bring that up. But I did have a couple of people send in some questions, and the questions they sent in, they were basically just doing my job for me. So fucking, to all those people that sent in questions, I thank you, because I had 3 or 4 people send in basically the same thing, and they just want to know, with all the craziness that you have had in 2023, what are your overall goals for whether it's wrestling or outside life in general? But what's 2023 look like in a perfect world in your mind for Kid Valiant?
In a perfect world, it would be straight off the bat with USA tour. If this was a perfect world, I'd be there for about 3-4 months if I could. I would love to wrestle in Japan, especially Korakuen Hall. That's one venue I just want to wrestle at. Like, when I think of wrestling, I think of that venue. So if I would to ever have the chance or the opportunity to do that, I would take it straight off the bat. But if I'm thinking realistically, a USA tour is in the works, so don't worry. It won't be straight off the bat, which I wish it would be, but it's in the works. Goals, man. Obviously, I'm not a big dude. I'm not muscly. I'm pretty fucking skinny, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm going to start PT with one of my mates at 100 strong. 100 strong fitness. Build some muscle. Just have healthier ways, because man, all this year I've just eaten like shit. I barely worked out. I haven't done things like gone for a run here and there, if that really. Just be healthier, train better, travel the world as much as I can. I want to move out. That's a big goal for me outside of wrestling. Want to hopefully rent somewhere, but that means picking up a full-time job, which is what I need to do, and I'm looking. So, Mum, if you're listening to this, yes, I'm looking for a full-time job. That's pretty much it. I just want to be happy, do the things I do, just ultimately just be healthier. There's a lot of bad habits that I have as of now. Nothing serious, just like, the usual, just bad habits, which I want to stop doing and just be a healthier person in general, and just keep doing professional wrestling. I started to take over. Next year I really just want to conquer.
Fair. That seems pretty fair, and it's realistic too, that's always the best way to look at things as well. Like, my goal is to win $1 million. Well, unfortunately, the only thing you can do is buy a lottery ticket, whereas you've got things where you can take multiple steps. So that's good. At least it's good to see that at a young age you do at least have your head screwed on straight.
I gotta think realistically, because unfortunately things cost money, and to do things you have to have money. So I gotta
Especially
switch on.
In professional wrestling.
Oh, the amount of money I have lost, and the amount of money I will lose next year, especially because I'm helping out within the wrestling community with a certain promotion. It's gonna kill me.
Speaking
I'm so looking forward to it.
Speaking of helping out with promotions and stuff, someone that you know very well, King Dreamer Lockie James, he just wants to know, what motivates Kid Valiant?
What motivates me? Oh, thanks, Lockie. That one's hard to fucking answer. Honestly, just knowing my family's proud of me, that motivates me. We have tiffs sometimes, me and my family, but that's just me being lazy. But just knowing they're proud of me, and just hearing them support me, and put me over, not only within the wrestling, but just in life in general. Just knowing that really motivates me, and them just saying follow your dreams, and if you want to make it a reality, you got to put the extra hard yards in. And the fans too, just the constant support. There's been times where I'm like, fuck, I'm done, I'm beat up, don't want to do this shit anymore, but and the fans are like, we want to see Kid Valiant on this, wrestle this person. We want to see Kid Valiant here. You know, that's always told me that, hey, there's an audience that wants to see you. Like, you don't want to disappoint. You want to keep going. And so I just genuinely want to thank all the fans and just like my family for keeping my dream alive. Because without you guys, like, who knows if I'll still be doing this. And, you know, I fell back in love with wrestling big time because of everyone. So thank you.
I feel that. Like, I don't think people realize that, you know, whether you're a grizzled vet of 20 years or even a rookie that's only been in it for, you know, 2, 3, 4 years, it only takes one bad show to kind of put those thoughts in your head and you get burnt out very fucking quickly. I almost quit, like, literally just as I'd I think it was my first heel turn and I just started getting my bearings and I was like, nah, shit was going on. And I was like, fuck this. I tried. At least I could say I tried. I'm done. And everyone's like, motherfucker, just get in that ring. Like, and then you have a great match and you're like, okay, I'm sorry, you guys are right.
Yeah, I love this shit. Yeah, 100%.
But what's your favorite match of all time? Both that you've seen and that you've had in your career. Obviously, I should say in your career so far, because you've already had some fucking bangers, and I have no doubt you're going to have a handful more. But as it stands now, what's your favorite match you've ever seen, and what's the favorite match you've had, or a couple of matches rather than, you know, put a gun to your head and make you decide?
So I got 3. Actually, no, I got like 4 matches so far this year that I've loved being a part of. One of them being the main event with Robbie Eagles.
That was actually a match of the week on episode I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, the match with Robbie, I've learned so much off that. You know, to be put in a position where I'm wrestling one of the world's best professional wrestlers was just amazing.
And again, you somehow managed to thrive in that moment and skyrocket even further.
Oh, man. I was shitting myself in that match, I'll tell you what. The match where I won the DMDU strap. You know, the team at DMDU have treated me like family and just have treated me so well. And, like, ultimately, like, I know it was like a 5-minute thing, but still just to have that moment of when I pinned Royce, which, Royce, come back soon, please, mate. We all miss you. Love you heaps, dude.
I think I described that on the podcast. As I said, it was Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar if they were cruiserweights, I believe was what I said. Because you kind of just went in, wham, bam, thank you, man, got your shit in. But there was so much more riding on it. And I think that comes down to, one, your connection with the fans. And, of course, Royce Chambers, who you just mentioned as well. Everything kind of just meshed. I don't think it was about, you know, the length of the match or the moves or anything else. You kind of just, you shared a moment. And obviously, as you said, I've only met Royce at Roll On. I don't know him outside of that. It was basically, hey man, I'm John, how you doing? That's literally all it went. So when I see that, you know, it's mental health, it comes back to what we just said. Sometimes you get burnt out. So I hope that whether he comes back, whether he doesn't, I just hope that, you know, for his sake as a human being, that he gets better.
Yeah, we all do. And, like, you know, Royce is a fantastic human being. You know, just being in the ring with him, I think of him as world-class talent, was just an honor, you know. But, yeah, that match will definitely go down as one of my favorite matches. And like you said, it doesn't matter about the length, because I think we went like 6 minutes, 7 minutes. It doesn't matter about that. It was like the moment we shared together and the things we got done in that ring. You know, it was ultimately, I think the fans won in that match, 100%.
It's one of those things where kind of, like, it sounds really bad to say, but like, as Mick Foley would say, right, think of the pop. Like, the pop when that final 3 hit, it could have gone either way. I think the fans appreciate it, but seeing Kid Valiant get this moment that, you know, with all due respect, I don't think a lot of people were expecting, because that's the whole point of you being an underdog, right? The story writes itself. So when you come off and you hit him and it's 1, 2, 3, I saw it live on social media, obviously, when DMDU shared it, and I was like, holy fuck, that's awesome. And even, a month later or whatever it was when it went up, I knew going into that Kid Valiant won and that Gore comes out. I even watching that, and maybe it's just because I'm such a fucking mark. In the moment, watching that and, you know, having them chant, "You deserve it," and then, you know, Royce says his piece and kind of, you know, walks off, I literally momentarily forgot that Gore was coming out, and I was like, son of a bitch, when Crackerjack, like, rings the bell, and I'm like, no!
Yeah, look, a lot of people online weren't too happy about that, but, you know, Gore's one of my best mates now, considering after everything that went down.
I feel like you beat, in a weird way, he beat you up, but you beat some respect into him, so that goes a long way.
I think I'm the only one that has showed Gore determination and, like, hasn't quit. Yeah, I got fucking manhandled, but I'm not going to give up, you know. I live up to the name. But we're getting sidetracked here.
That's all right, I apologize.
No, it's not your fault, man. Matches I've seen live. Flex and Adam Brooks at MCW Endgame 2019. Fuck, that was such a good match.
Those two always have great matches, though. Like, their rivalry spanned, what, fucking almost a decade at this point? Like, it's fucking crazy.
Just that match itself was, even my dad, like, he loved that match. It was probably one of the best matches I've ever seen live. I think that just tops the list altogether. I mean, seeing Will Ospreay and Robbie at the Southern Showdown show, me and my mate actually saved money to be in the front row to actually watch that match. So if you watch the replay, you can see a young Kid Valiant in the crowd in the front row with my mate, Billy Wright.
They had a fantastic series of matches, though, Will and Robbie. Holy shit.
They have had great matches. Another live match I've seen live. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan at a house show.
Yes, I remember you mentioning that on Rafe, and I was like, this motherfucker, because my first WWE show wasn't ever until 2015. I think the main event of that was Seth versus Ambrose in a cage match, which was cool, but everyone's like, I've got friends that have seen Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle, and I'm just like, fuck all of you guys.
No, but like, just seeing, like I've said it all the time, like, CM Punk's my favorite wrestler. He always has been, and he, fuck you all, he always will be.
I'm currently trying to sell my CM Punk pop vinyl if anyone's interested. Not because I hate CM Punk, because I'm broke and I've got bills to pay.
Money.
I mean, I was heartbroken by, like, his AEW run, but you know, he's still one of the all-time greats. His ROH stuff holds up against anything.
Well, I still think it's a work.
There is still that part of me that's like, is it a work? But even if it's not in wrestling, it'd be silly to not turn it into one.
Yeah. But, just seeing two of the best professional wrestlers, especially, like, Punk. Like, I would say the E was his peak, especially when he was a WWE champion. That would have been his peak run. So just seeing Brian Danielson wrestle CM Punk, they just have, like, a classic, as they always have had against each other. It's just two competitors that work so well.
Very much so. You could watch just about any CM Punk Daniel Bryan match, and I might fucking dig through the archives after this and make one of their WWE matches the match of the week for this episode, just for the sake of this conversation. But is there any matches, like, in terms of just watching, whether it's WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, just in general, where you're sitting on the couch, that you often find yourself going back to?
Man, I'll tell you what, for a wrestler, I don't watch a lot of wrestling.
That's fair. Some people prefer like the live experience and whatnot. That's cool.
I have the on and off phase, but if there's a match that I'll always go back to, I think it'll be Will Ospreay versus Ricochet at the WCPW World Cup in 2017.
That whole World Cup produced a couple of fucking bangers.
Like Rey Mysterio and Ospreay,
so I was drunk as fuck when I watched Rey Mysterio versus Will Ospreay, and I was like, this is the greatest wrestling match I've ever seen. And then, like, the next day, I'm like, okay, I'm sober now. I've got to watch this again. And I'm like, it wasn't the greatest match I've ever seen at that point, but it was still like, holy fuck, this is blowing my absolute mind.
Like, you got to see Rey Mysterio, who, in that case, is the greatest high flyer of all time, versus the the hottest or like the new high flyer on the block, and like they put on a barn burner too. But the whole World Cup, like you said, was fucking phenomenal.
Even seeing Ray versus Ricochet, it's like, yeah, they faced off in Lucha Underground, which was cool, but seeing it still happen, like, you know, this is a thing. This is just a small independent promotion in hindsight that somehow manages to have all these names and all this money, and then just
Lucha Underground, that was so good.
I was so pissed off because they had it on Tubi, and I had a VPN. It was a legal one too, by the way, for those listening. And my wife and I, we were watching it because she'd never seen it. She'd just seen like clips. We got like halfway through the first season, just into like the Pentagon Vampiro saga. And literally right as we got into that, the fucking contract expired, and now there's nowhere I can watch it.
No.
Like, fuck.
Oh, no.
It's like she'd seen like clips and stuff of Pentagon, and because she'd only really seen him in AEW, and she's like, oh, he's cool, but there's other like better wrestlers. And I'm like, no, you got to watch this Lucha Underground shit.
Yeah, Pentagon, without a doubt, is one of the best luchadors right now on this planet, hands down. Oh, just Lucha Underground. Fuck, I would love to be in a Lucha Underground ring. And just like the storytelling they told women it too, just like the characters, like Prince Puma, Ricochet, and is it King Corino? Which was
King Cuerno.
Yeah.
Shout out to King Corino though, Steve Corino.
Oh.
I'm constantly telling Will Walker every time he posts a new photo, I'm just like, Steve Corino vibes. It's probably getting sick of seeing me come up in his DMs, but anyway.
But no, Lucha Underground, that's something I wish was still running, because I reckon that was one of the best TV series / wrestling series going on.
So fucking hype when MLW were going to do like Azteca Underground, and they tried, and then it just kind of flopped after a couple of months, and I was like, oh. Now it's just a stable in MLW, which is cool because Dario Cueto, or whatever the fuck his name is in MLW, because for legal reasons they can't say it, and in kayfabe they got around with, allegedly he faked his own death under a previous alias, and I'm like, how good is professional wrestling that you can throw out something that ridiculous, and the people that get the reference are just like, fuck yeah. Like,
yeah, it just works. But if you do it in the real world, it just declines.
As I said, I get really sidetracked, and I apologize. I love professional wrestling. My wife's having a nap, so this is awesome to just sit here and talk bullshit. But I know that this is an ever-growing list for you, as you have mentioned again on other podcasts. But who are some of your dream opponents? I'm talking like locally, internationally. Like if you have an unlimited budget and you can book whoever the fuck you want, who are some of your dream opponents, and what are some of your dream stipulations?
So straight off the bat, locally, Adam Brooks. I know it was in plans. I don't know if Brooks knows, but I know there was FWA. They were going to bring Brooksy back down or back up, wherever you like to say it. A lot of people told me, like, the fact that you've done all this shit and you haven't stepped in the ring with Brooksy yet just boggles them.
That actually, like... I didn't actually notice that until you bring that up. That actually is crazy. I'm like, just assumed that surely you'd cross paths in like a multi-man or a tag match or something, but wow.
Oh, like I've shared locker rooms with him, but I had yet to step in the foot with him, and, you know, that was someone I grew up watching too. Oh, fuck, that's going to make him sound old, but he's not.
Well, I think what 5-Star Flash has to do is, after Kid Valiant continues to stomp people's faces into mats, and hopefully does it to Vinny Vane once again. Hi, Pierce Austin, how are you? He brings in Adam Brooks when he's back from his US tour, and we finally get that match.
Look.
Shout out to Pierce Austin. I like busting his balls.
Nah, he's a great dude. Will Ospreay. Yeah, that's one match I've wanted since I've ever watched. Since I watched like the first. I kind of English today. Fucking love that for me. Yeah, Will Ospreay. Just when I saw him for the first time, there we go. Was like, yeah, I want to be in the ring with him. Absolutely. Any stipulation, anything goes. Who else? Darby Allin. I want him in the show fight.
Oh, fucking Jesus Christ.
No, because my pitch is, if you want to see two small dudes throw their bodies around and not give a shit about themselves, come watch this match.
Hey, Joel Bateman and Aaron Dick and Callum Butcher and Orko and whoever else, Mikey J, someone. Book this in DMDU. Let's go.
Just book this anywhere. Like, I think it would sell tickets. I'd hope. Well, 2 dream opponents which yet to be announced, which I can't say yet. It'll happen soon. But who's wrestling now? Man, there's too many people. Oh, Kid Bandit. I would love to wrestle them.
Oh, fuck it. Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
Kid Bandit, especially now because they run their own promotion and, you know.
They randomly followed me back on Instagram, and I'd be lying if I didn't, like, run out to my wife and mark out a little bit.
Kid Valiant. I've actually talked to them before saying, if you ever come to Australia, I'll look after you and stuff like that. Like, make sure you're not heading anywhere sketchy and all that bullshit. So I would love to wrestle Kid Bandit.
One of my young proteges, Jackson Thornhill, is forever sending me clips of Kid Bandit. I'm like, bro, I've seen that clip already. It's fine. And he's like, no, but look at how cool this is and this is. And I'm like, it's fine. It's okay. Just calm down. He's like, I want to do this. And I'm like, no, you can't just steal people's shit. I mean, you can, but you got to hide it better.
Yeah.
Which I'm terrible at, for the record.
Yeah, like Kid Bandit. Nick Wayne. He's a big one. I want to wrestle Nick Wayne, especially with how hot he is right now. And, like, he's just a great wrestler. I don't know. There's so many people I want to wrestle. I can't name them all as much as I would love to. In terms of stipulations, I know I wrestled in the pit and there was a cage, but I wouldn't classify that as a cage match. It's still a pit match. I would love to wrestle in the steel cage.
And he's going to jump off it again.
Yeah, look, yeah. What have I done this year? So I've done a false count anyway. I've done the pit. Done a death match. I want to do a light tube lunacy match. I want to get some glass. I want to use some glass. I want to use light tubes. Stipulations. If we had unlimited budget, we could do it. Hell in the Cell.
Jesus.
And
again, he's going to do a shadow match and he's going to jump off and fucking...
Yeah. Man, I'm going to get in so much trouble when someone hears this podcast. I'm going to get a message. So why are you planning to jump off more shit?
I'll try not to encourage it too much. Be like, in my DMs, like, why did you encourage him?
Yeah,
sorry.
Look, everybody's been encouraging me. Even when people don't encourage me, I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to just do this.
Yeah, it's like somehow now that you've told me not to do it, I want to do it even more.
You wouldn't do it.
The old you would have.
Just do the whole Aussie peer pressure. Don't be a shit cunt. Like, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, whatever opportunities presents itself, I'm going to take. Like, I'd be stupid not to. But like, those are the people I want to wrestle. There's some of the stipulations I want to do. Hopefully, it can happen. Whether it be next year or 10 years from now, just hopefully I can at least do it once just to say I can do it.
That seems fair. That seems fair. Before we head into... Oh, sorry, were you going to say something else?
Oh, no, I was talking to myself. Sorry, it just happens.
That's just thinking out loud for the next bit.
Brother.
Before we get into all the plugs and upcoming events and all your merch and everything in between... I like to kind of wind down on a non-wrestling question just to kind of give like a fun fact. Try my best to tailor it, to my individual. I don't know you super well, but I know you well enough to know that you, much like me and Adrian, go listen to last week's episode if you haven't already, cheap plug, you're a bit of a nerd. And I mean that in the best way. And I fucking love every second of it. Like, I know you talked about it with, with Rafe on Faces and Feels. But when you came out with the Star-Lord mask,
the Star-Lord gimmick, yeah.
And like as soon as the music hit, I was like, no. I'm like, he's not. And I literally jumped off my armchair. And my wife's like, you good? I'm like, this is the fucking greatest thing like ever.
Man, I gotta show you pictures of my bedroom after this is done. And like, my wallet is literally the emblem of the Brooklyn Nine-Nine TV series.
Nice.
So big fuck off nerd, man.
But my question is, it's actually a two-part question because I'm ADHD and I'm very fucking indecisive, but who is your all-time favorite superhero / supervillain? You can take your pick from either Marvel or DC, and if you had one superpower, what would it be for Kid Valiant?
Okay, so superhero would be Deadpool, hands down.
Yes.
Hands down. If anyone who knows me very well, I have a
Probably
tattoo
wondering
of
why I wore
Deadpool.
the red suit. He was smart.
Yeah.
He wore the brown pants.
Brown pants.
Yes.
Yeah, did I leave the oven on? But anyone who knows me, I've got a tattoo of Deadpool on me. I think Deadpool is the greatest movie of all time, the greatest hero of all time.
And
Yes,
Ryan Reynolds makes it just even fucking better. Like, I've loved Deadpool like in the comics and even in the Lego video games, which are tailored for kids.
It's just
they
the
still
best.
manage to capture the essence of Deadpool perfectly. And then Ryan Reynolds comes along and it's just like, where has this been my whole life?
Like, I got so much Deadpool stuff in my room. It's not funny. Like, I'm looking at it all now. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Deadpool pops. Oh no, 8 Deadpool pops. There we go. 9. Okay, they're popping out everywhere. 9 Deadpool pop vinyls, and I got like the posters and like just like I got a plush toy and stuff. Like, you can't escape Deadpool with me, unfortunately. I will quote that movie religiously.
I was digging through the box to find the CM Punk pop vinyl. This isn't a cheap plug for it being for sale either way, but when I was going through the box, I've tried my best to separate them and keep them in order as much as I can, so that way when my wife and I get a bigger house, they're still in order when I unpacked them. I found that I have, I think, 5 or 6 Deadpool pop vinyls. They're all the exact same fucking figure. It's just that they're colored variants with his outfits. And my wife just kind of looked at me and she's like, shook her head. And I'm like, look, I've got the regular one. I've got the black and white one. I've got, I think, 2 different X-Men ones where one's more blue, the other one's more yellow. And then there's another one that I can't think of right now. I think it's just a shinier version of the red suit or something, but...
Well, I'm slowly collecting pops in like their little collections, so I feel you there. Like, people look at me and they're like, "Wow, you got all this pop vinyl," and sometimes it's just off the one thing too.
Well, actually, if you want to be technical, I've got another one because one that I actually do have on display. I've got the ones that the AAA did, the Marvel Luchadors. I have El Mate Chimichanga looking right at me right now. Death by Chimichanga. That's technically a Deadpool Funko Pop.
So I got well, it is because I have the same one. Is that the all red one with the black?
Yes.
Black, yeah. So I also got the Hulk looking one, which is actually funny enough. I never wore the gear. Both of those pops remind me of just Mask Kid Valiant, so that's why I have them.
Yeah, I have the whole set. I bought like the first one I got was Spider-Man because I'm like, he's my favorite. I had that Spidey. I'm like, okay, I've got to have Venom. And then I got Iron Man just because he was on sale at EB Games because, you know, they're notorious for sales. And then I think it was birthday or Christmas. My wife's like, here's the rest of the set. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. I said superhero, supervillain. It's so basic, but like you can never go wrong. Joker. Honestly, just any variation.
I'd pay that. I'd pay that any day of the week.
Look, Joker, hands down. I need to get the money because Joker's going to be tatted on my body too. I'm hoping to get my forearm done of Joker. I want it to be the Ledger one.
So like we're just shy of an hour now. So I'm like, if we stray away a little bit, it's not too far. It's not too bad as long as it's okay with you. My wife had never seen Suicide Squad until the other day, and we're still yet to watch the new one. What is your opinion on Jared Leto's Joker? Because a lot of people on the surface go, it's fucking shit. I thank you. Holy fuck, thank you.
Underrated. I'm sorry. DC did him dirty big time. They cut all of his scenes.
Because they
cut majority of his scenes.
I've got it on Blu-ray, so I've got the extended version, which has like 2 extra minutes of him. Yay! So I showed my wife that version just so that she could get a bigger picture. And she said, I'm like, what's your opinion? Like, because she's very picky with some of her heroes, but much like me, when it comes to the ones she does like, she's a super nerd. And when it comes to, you know, Batman and Joker, as basic as it may seem, she's absolutely in love. So I'm like, what's your take on this Joker? And she's like, there's not enough footage for me to make a guess, but I dig the look. And I'm just like, thank you, because that's usually the one thing people like, oh, he's a psycho, he's not a tattooed thug. And I'm like, He's the Joker. He can be whatever the fuck he wants.
If people look in the comics, there is a tattooed Joker. He's got like a big fuck off dragon on his back.
I could be wrong. I
comics.
think it's the new 52 version of Joker.
It's still a version of Joker.
Yeah.
It's still a variation. Like you said, you can have Joker any way you want.
Someone's screaming at me if I've got that wrong, but I believe it's the new 52 Joker because the new 52 Harley Quinn is my favorite variation of her. But
Jared Leto Joker is very underrated. Unfortunately, DC didn't do him justice.
I would love for him to get his own, maybe not his own movie like Joaquin Phoenix did, but can we redo him and have him as a full-blown villain, please? Just
as much as I would love that, with the DCU getting rebooted, hopefully properly with James Gunn.
Honestly, James Gunn in charge excites the absolute fuck out of me. It really does.
Well, the upsetting news is Henry Cavill's not coming back.
Oh, really? I thought I saw the other day that he was returning.
Nah, he just put out a post today.
Is it all just like rumor and innuendo?
Well, yeah, unfortunately he's not coming back, which sucks because he is Superman.
Because I know that The Rock has said in so many like interviews that he wants to oppose Henry Cavill as Superman. And I'm just like...
It makes the most sense. It makes the most logical sense.
Because I'm really weird with Superman for DC and Captain America for Marvel. I'm like, I dig it, but like I'm not as on the train as everyone else. But Chris Evans for his role as America and then Cavill, like we're talking now, that to me makes Superman bearable.
Oh, 100%.
Like, don't get me wrong, I like, the old, what's his name, Christopher Reeve as Superman back in the day. Good. Super hokey, but I love it. But everyone that's kind of tried to be Superman, besides Smallville, I feel like that was a good portrayal of like a younger Hal Jordan.
Smallville was good though.
But I almost said Hal Jordan, that's Green Lantern. Fuck me. Hal, they all sound the fucking same.
KL.
Yeah, KL, thank you, not Cal. Yeah. My ADHD makes me read it fucking as one word. But yeah, I hope Cavill comes back because I feel like his portrayal is fantastic.
Jared Leto's Joker, underrated. Henry Cavill, I wish he comes back eventually. I don't know, man. I'm a big nerd. You walk into my room, you'll see pretty much anything. You want Disney? Oh, there's Disney in here. You want Joker? There's Joker. You want Deadpool? There's plenty of it.
It's funny that you mentioned, though, getting a tattoo of Joker on your forearm because one of the next ones on my list is a Harley Quinn on my thigh or my calf. Haven't decided that yet, but it's pretty funny that we're kind of on like a similar...
On the same track.
But,
yeah.
What would your superpower be before I derail this completely?
Oh, man. Oh, superpower. Super speed only because if I'm going so quick and everything slows down, I will always catch my opponent no matter what. So there'll be no fuck ups in my life.
Fucking just imagine coming off the rope for that curb stomp and just going pow, stomping their head into a different fucking dimension. I'm not sure I'm not sure that's legal. Does that count as a foreign object if it's like a superpower?
Oh, anything goes. It's an anything goes match. But you can do so much with super speed too. Like you can jump high with it. You can go with, like you said, you can turn back time, do different dimensions and stuff. So I think I chose a pretty safe superpower. I'm quite happy with that.
I could see that. So as we start to head into the plugs, I've had a question here from Anarchy promoter Adrian, and I guess this is where he wants his cheap plug. But what are your current dates for 2023?
Oh man, that means opening my laptop. I'll be very quick. I only just got to put my passcode in. I don't shut down my laptop like people do. Okay,
dude, I shut down my laptop every fucking time, and 5 minutes later, I'm like, fuck, I forgot to do this.
I just close the lid and just hope for the best for the most times. I have January 7th, the 14th, and the 21st open. I have February 11th and the 18th open. I have March 18th open. Holy shit, March is actually really filled up. I have April 1st, 8th, 15th, and the 22nd is being in talks. with MXW.
Well, hey, ICW Australia, pay for Kid
Hey,
Valiant's travel. CPW, 15th of April, CPW champions.
I mean, hello.
Let me commentate a Kid Valiant match, please.
I got all of May open. I got all of June open except for the 24th. I've got the 8th and the 15th and the 29th of July. I have the 5th and the 12th of August. I have September 2nd, 9th and 16th and the 30th. I have October 7th, 14th to 28th, November 4th, 11th and the 25th. And then I have all of December open. So there's plenty of dates. I'm open to work Friday nights, on Sundays, on weekdays even, if there's going to be any weekday shows.
There's literally 3 dates on my calendar that Kid Valiant is vacant on, and they're meant to be big shows. So, hey, hint, slide into his DMs at Kid Valiant _PW, and you can do the rest of the plugs, because that's the only one I can remember.
What is my socials? So it's
at Kid Valiant PW, or is it at the Kid Valiant?
So it's at Kid Valiant at Kid.Valiant PW. Twitter is that Valiant Kid. Facebook is Kid Valiant - or - professional wrestler. I mean, I guess TikTok counts as a plug. Just search up Kid Valiant. I'll be one of them. Yeah, that's pretty much all my plugs. I don't have anything else.
Fucking terrible with TikToks lately.
Follow MXW _PW. There's going to be some exciting things happening there.
Yes, the link to Slam and Sham, as always, will be in the description. The link will be in the description. Blair, what is English? As will all of Kid Valiant's socials. But where can we find merch? Have you got a wrestler merch store, or is it just at shows?
Look, I don't. I still have wrestler merch uploaded, but there's no updated designs or anything.
I really should have checked that before starting this conversation. Serious apologies.
Don't stress.
I really need to cop me one of those Kid Valiant shirts, though, because literally every design I've seen you have so far are fucking dope. But if someone wants to buy that CM Punk pop vinyl, so I actually have money, I'll put $25 aside and get a Kid Valiant shirt.
Well, I have new designs being made up, so hopefully there's more than just shirts. Hopefully hoodies and hats and stuff soon. So next year is looking like a big merch game. Yeah, spending money. Yeah.
I tried to get hoodies, and then literally as I was organizing them, I had to go off work because of my eye surgery, and was like, well, I'm not affording that anytime soon.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
But
yeah, man.
I think that pretty much does it, unless there's anything else you want to just fucking rant about and talk shit for the next however long.
And there's so many topics on top of my head. It's just going to kill the both of us, I reckon. Especially if you're running only on caffeine, and I'm, well, I don't know. I'm a teenager. I don't know what I do.
My body's just fucking weird, though. Like, I'll either sleep for like 12 hours or 2 hours. There doesn't seem to be any in between. I don't know if that's got to do with my ADHD, or maybe I need to go to a sleep doctor. Who knows? But much like this podcast, I probably need therapy as well. But I'll just sit in a room and talk into a microphone and hope for the best.
100%, man. That's the way.
But I have no doubt I'll hopefully have you back on, and I'm glad we finally got this in the can, and I thank you for bearing with me between both of our lives, being chaotic.
Of course, man. That's no shit.
But hopefully I can get you back on it at some point, whether over the phone or over video, whichever. Doesn't really matter. I'm trying to work out actually how to record my videos and stuff so I can do it on my YouTube channel, because I made a YouTube channel. That's nothing to do with this conversation, nice. But if anyone listens to this and wants to help me and just tell me what settings and shit I need to use, because Rafe and Pierce have both gave me so much information and feedback and advice on just recording fucking audio, because I'm very technologically challenged, but I thank you for coming on, man. And as I said, I have no doubt I'll have you back on. I'm going to continue to stay up to date with everything you do on social media, and just keep fucking killing it, man. Like, thanks, man. I cannot wait to see
so much.
What I almost said 2022. We're in 2022. I cannot wait to see what 2023 holds for you, and I'm really hoping that I can work out my funds and I can get my travel sorted and I can make it to do the play-by-play spot at MXW that was offered to me, because catching up with you again and seeing you do your thing be fucking awesome, and getting to know you a little bit better, as well as, you know, Lockie and Ace and Robbie Parker
having you
and
commentate
Adrian.
the match too. It's so good.
Very recently, I did my first ever solo play-by-play plus ring announcing, and I was like shitting myself the whole night. And so far, the only constructive criticism I've got, and it's been shit 2 months now since it happened, 2.5 months. The only constructive criticism was my mic needed to be louder, but unfortunately with the setup we had that night, if they had to turn my volume up, the ring the ring music and everything would have been turned up as well, because it was all connected to the one fucking speaker. But yeah, hopefully we can catch up at MXW, but if not, as I said, I'm sure I'll have you back on at some point. You've got a lot of cool shit coming up, but yeah, just
fingers crossed.
Keep killing it. I know I'm a crack record here, but as I said, I'm ADHD. My brain runs 1,000 miles an hour.
Thank you, man. It was so much fun being on here. Can't wait to join back up again.
Open invitation. If you've ever got anything you need to plug or whatever, just slide into my Instagram DMs or Facebook DMs, whichever you prefer, and we'll work it out.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that heaps.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Kid Valiant. See you later, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you once again to Kid Valiant for jumping on the pod. Thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and as I've said 1,001 times during this conversation, I'll make it 1,002, because why not? I cannot wait to see what heights this young man continues to reach, and I guess in his case that can mean physically just as well as metaphorically. And as always, make sure you check all of those links in the description. My link tree does contain all my socials for my wrestling pages, the podcast pages, my pro wrestling tee store, and for the 3 or 4 of you that have actually asked, my Amazon wishlist is there as well. Of course, all of Kid Valiant's social medias and his wrestler merch store that he mentioned in this conversation will be down there as well. Most importantly, though, make sure you check those links for MXW, ICW Australia, and Anarchy Pro for their first shows of 2023, and actually MXW and Anarchy Pro's first official shows, respectively. And as mentioned in this conversation as well, I am still trying to sell my CM Punk Funko Pop. I have a few other wrestling items for sale as well. Check out the items on my Instagram page and hit me up if you're interested, or you know someone that knows someone that knows someone, because I got bills to pay, and look, you guys all do too, but if you got some spare cash, hit me up. The song of the week was You're Gonna Go Far Kid by The Offspring. The match of the week was CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan at Over the Limit 2012. I am the essential John L. Crossfire, and you were just caught in conversation.